installing large format tile on a ceiling and don't want it falling on your head, I'm using a lightweight, no sag thinset to be sure that I get adequate coverage and I get good transfer. I'm using a Euro trowel. I'm notching the ceiling and I'm also notching the back of the tile. Very important when you notch the tile and the ceiling that the lines of the trowel go in the same direction. So the reason I'm using a lightweight, no sag thinset is because it's just easier to work with, in the sense that it stays on your trowel a lot better than a regular thinset. It's lighter to work with, it's creamier, and it spreads easier, and it's much easier to get transfer and coverage than a regular polymer modified thinset. So when you're ready to place your tile on the ceiling, you got to make sure that you really press it in good and you move it back and forth to collapse those ridges and get very good coverage. Okay, so I got my first tile up, so now I got my margin trowel. I'm going to pry it off the ceiling, look at the coverage, see what I get, and make sure that I have very good coverage. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Okay, so I'm using a leveling system on the ceiling, and if there's anywhere that really comes in handy is on the ceiling. Every little bit of help is going to make it easier. So when you're spreading thinset on the ceiling, you don't want to be standing directly under the area where you're spreading the thinset, because thinset will fall, and it's inevitable. Thinset will fall as you're trailing it out on the ceiling. So you might be wondering why I'm putting the tiles up in this direction instead of the long ways, the same as the back wall. Well, the answer is because this is a steam shower, and that center line, the ceiling slopes down in both directions from that. So it slopes from the center to one side and from the center to the other side. Even though this is a steam shower, proper slope is actually supposed to be 2 inches per foot, which is really steep. So oftentimes the homeowner will opt not to put a slope in or reduce the slope to avoid having that big slope on the ceiling. So why would you need a sloped ceiling in a steam shower? Well, because it's a steam shower, the steam will condense on the cold ceiling, form water droplets, and then drip on the person in the shower. That's the only function. So you put a very steep slope on the ceiling so the water will condense, run towards the wall, and then come down the wall instead of dripping on the person. So if you look at the edge where the tile meets the wall, the ceiling tile meets the wall, you see that I have wedges. So I'm placing these wedges on the edge of the tile on both sides. And the purpose for that is to maintain my movement joint where the ceiling tile meets the wall tile, and also put pressure on both sides of the tile to just try and give it an extra little bit of help staying up. Okay, so after you've marked and cut a tile, especially on a ceiling, you want to test fit it to make sure that it fits the way it's supposed to. The last thing you want to do is spread your thinset on the tile, spread your thinset on the ceiling, then go to put the tile in and you find out it doesn't fit properly. Especially on the ceiling, you want to do things right the first time. Okay, so the ceiling's done. Next day, knock out the clips, clean up, and get ready for grout. So this is the finished bathroom before grout.